Welcome into the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 41.
Damn,
I'm Andy
boy.
Strickland, Cam Jansen in the hizzy. How are you, Cam? You
Damn,
should
boy.
be energized, man. You should be energized.
Why
No
would
excuses.
Why would I be energized right
Well,
now?
because you just went on like a, you call it a vacation. It's not a
That's not
vacation.
a vacation.
You went down to a
Homie,
lake,
that's not-
and you
I
got
went
on
three-
you
fuck.
got on a pontoon boat.
No.
and It was your 1 year anniversary, so happy
Fine,
anniversary
fine.
to
Okay,
you.
I told you. I totaled my boat when I was in England. I don't have a boat yet.
You took your boat to England?
Motherfuck.
You
no.
just said you totaled your boat.
I
to
totaled
England.
it when I was in England because there's a flood in Eureka, and I was at the lighthouse storage right by my house, and my boat was right there, and it was underwater for 6 days. Therefore, it gets totaled. I missed that little son of a bitch. I do. So therefore, Kate and I have our 1 year anniversary. She's still with me, which is always good. We go down to Table Rock Lake, and it's lovely. Get a boat, do our thing, cruise. We see every piece of shoreline in that whole place. I get my groove back on. Once you get your boat, baby, you're
Was
like,
it
yeah,
crowded down
like,
there?
yeah.
People
I
down
didn't
there
see
hanging out?
one person. I didn't talk to anybody. I spend money. I helped out the economy. I helped out small gas stations. I helped out small little restaurants. I helped out the hotel we stayed at. I tipped well. That's what I do, Andy. That's what I do.
All right, well, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Guys have been together for like 20 years. I don't
about
get this
7, 8
1
years.
year thing. I don't
well,
understand this.
Well, I didn't. Well, oh, let me
What,
look at
you
some-
waited like 10 years to get
funny
married?
how that works. You're gonna chirp me for waiting? It's so funny. It's so fucking funny.
You waited 10
No, no,
years to
time
get
out.
married? Is that what you
It's
did?
so funny. I waited 7 years to get married, and everybody.
7?
Listen to me. Every one of you donkeys, not you because you're not divorced yet. Every one of you donkeys. I'm listening.
Did
You
you
guys
say
are all.
yet?
No, listen to me. You're all listening in your car right now. All y'all that came up to me 3 years in, you're like, "Why don't you get married?" Bitch, you just got divorced twice. You're telling me to get married? Kate and I are best friends. We do everything together. You got divorced twice. Your bank account's donezo, and you're telling me to get married? Sit your ass down. Sit down.
Tell us why you had
Jesus
to go to the lake to begin with.
Because I love the water and I want peace. And we looked over I love sleeping and looking out at night and like chilling, and the sun's coming down. And
Was it a nice place you stayed at?
Yeah, of course, man.
Or was
I'm
it
not
like,
frugal.
did you cheap out?
Am I cheap?
I don't know. You
For
called
millions.
You called out somebody else for being cheap.
Don't be cheap around me. I'm the most non-cheap son of a
And you
bitch.
basically
I need
called
to be cheap.
him out,
Kate
too.
wants me to be cheap now. She wants me to be cheap, and I'm like, no, girl, what's up? I have a reputation. I got paid for things, girl. That's what I do. I'm not cheap. I get the nicest shit possible. That's what we do. And it might, sometimes she might look at me like, do we need to get that? I'm like, yeah, we kind of do. I'm like, eh. That's what happens. That's it. But I'm not cheap.
All right, can we talk about something real quick?
What?
All right, so Brad Mayday.
Yeah, Brad, yeah.
He comes on our show, on our podcast.
Yeah, I remember.
And we loved having him on here.
Oh, awesome,
And
dude. Bagged him up.
I had never asked him about the Todd Bertuzzi situation before.
True.
And we asked him on the podcast, and he gave a very honest answer. Now, before I even get into that, people complain all the time that athletes, they're cliche, they don't speak from the heart, they don't tell you what they really think. And then when they do, people want to bitch about it and complain.
I know.
Like, shut up. So we ask him a question,
Right.
and he gives us an honest answer of his opinion of Steve Moore. Now, here's a guy who was in the thick of it, knows way more than he's ever going to share with us in terms of what he thinks, how it went down, what was said beforehand. And we asked him a simple question, and he has an opinion on Steve Moore. Whether you like it or not, that's his opinion. And I thought it was a good soundbite. I think we all agreed that it was a pretty telling soundbite.
Yep.
And something that we appreciate. When people come on our podcast, we don't want the cliche bullshit.
No.
We
I don't have
like
time
people
for it.
to be
No,
honest.
I don't have time for that.
And, tell us what they really think. He did it. And so we put it up on social media, and all these fans are coming at him just going crazy. And I feel bad because that wasn't our intention whatsoever, but he made the comment, and it was about one of the biggest incidents in the history of the National Hockey League,
Yeah,
considering the legal implications and how long it dragged on before it was resolved.
So
who was involved? All that
is
type
this
of
a
stuff.
question, or is
No.
this what are you
so
laying
I just
out? Like,
so we just
what
that
the fuck?
it wasn't our intention
No, I know it
to
wasn't.
have him get railroaded like that, and I
But
didn't
why is
really
he getting
like that.
railroaded? Because why? You got to think like all these people. Just listen to me, and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nasty fucking incident. It was nasty. I told this, now tell it again. Todd Bertuzzi should have turned him around and then did it. So then it's on him.
Mm-hmm.
Now he sees you coming. We got that. Fine. But Brad May did nothing in this whole thing, right? But he also got sued. And we also, these guys know the ins and outs and how all this, the logistical.
So it's coming from a different emotional level for him, you know?
So you guys are looking on TV like, oh, he's horrible, and Brad May's sticking up for property. No. It is so much deeper than that. You have no fucking idea. And Brad May's telling, he's just saying, look, this guy's suing the shit out of me. I did nothing. What I'm explaining, what I think about this guy and how he played this whole situation. He got caught, yeah. He also fucking knocked out one of our best players with a nasty-ass elbow. Oh, I know about elbows, Andy. I know. That was an elbow. Both of you were off your feet and you elbowed him right in his fucking head. That's an elbow. You're going to get shit for that. Now, did that whole thing come out the way anybody wanted it to? Absolutely not. But the rip on Brad May for stuff that you guys honestly, like the internal shit that he knows about this whole situation, you can't just look at it from the viewpoint that we all have instead of talking to him and being like, you're a fuck that he hurt himself and he never played again. Oh, really?
And let me
you don't
say
think
this.
He played again? You don't think he could have played again? Get on.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is, but I got text messages from several players saying they 100% agree with what he said.
A lot of players.
I'm not going to sit here and say I agree with it or I don't. I have nothing to do with it.
It's just a different viewpoint and it's a different stance because he was in it and he's getting sued by the guy. That he's like, very bizarre.
He compared it to insurance fraud. He believes that he eventually healed up and he was healthy enough to return to play. I think that was a big issue in the lawsuit, that his career was taken away from him. He could never play again.
I know.
And
he's suing everybody.
And again, he got
it.
sued.
So you're suing my family.
So he didn't like it. So he gave his opinion. But again, we like everybody who comes on this podcast.
Yeah.
Do we include Daniel Carcillo in that or not?
Yeah, I like.
Okay, we include him.
I know.
Okay. I said everybody, so I wasn't sure.
Danny's hardcore on Cats, man, and I get why people are fucking pissy at him, but he does do a lot of.
What if he came at you like that?
He probably will eventually, and I'm gonna have to deal with it. I'm dead serious. Like, I'm gonna say something somewhat stupid that's not gonna be in conjunction to what their mindset is.
You do every single time.
I do every goddamn day. I do every day, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. About it. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I lived in Windsor. I'm sorry. But the point is, I like everybody, man. I do, but just don't, if I'm getting fucking sued by somebody and I had nothing to goddamn do with it, I'm going to be fucking pissed. You're suing me because of what somebody said? And everybody's jumping on me on social media because I don't like this guy? And they're fucking beaking me because this guy's suing me? I had nothing to do. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. So just think about it.
I just didn't like him getting railroaded.
I don't like it either.
By something we did on our podcast and what he said.
But I get the emotion. I get the emotion.
Well, especially if you're a Colorado Avalanche fan.
Totally.
Do they have fans?
Yeah, they won the Cup twice.
They got a lot of fans,
homie.
don't they? Yeah,
they won the Cup twice. They're one of the coolest teams in the world.
Right when they first got there.
I know, they kicked the shit. Look.
But I don't get the sense. I go to Colorado a lot.
I know.
You go to Table Rock Lake. I go to Colorado. And
you go with your family. I'm hanging. Okay, you're hanging with your kids and like doing like that's cool.
So you go to Table Rock Lake.
I love your kids.
And you go on like a paddle boat and look at like geese and stuff like that. But when we're like looking at the beautiful mountains in Colorado, I don't get the sense. And I've been to games in Colorado.
It's 3 hours away. Colorado, 3 hours away.
12.
Okay,
that's cool. In a car, it's like less than 3.
So you're time out. You're beaking me for going on a little vacation 3 hours away, and I come back, and you were fucking worried that I wasn't going to come back.
Great.
I'm here before you, and then now you want me to go to fucking Colorado, 12 hours away. I wouldn't be calling you right now. I'd still be in Colorado eating gummies all fucking day.
But listen, I get the sense that when I go to the games and I'm in Colorado, I don't feel like I'm surrounded. I feel like there's Bronco fans everywhere.
Like there's Blues fans everywhere.
And there's Blues
fans everywhere in Colorado. Why? Because it's fun to go there.
Are people really that passionate? I'm sure people got into the Stanley Cup.
How can you not?
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I know. I get that.
But now they're coming out of nowhere.
You know why?
They're just crushing Brad May.
It's the LA syndrome. It's the LA syndrome. In Denver. Sorry to compare you to LA because the LA people aren't Denver people. But my point is, there's so much to do in Denver. There's hiking and mountain bike. I mean, you could do anything you want. It's just like it's a fucking playground, and that's why everybody's in shape there. And it's like, oh, do I want to go to the Avalanche game or do I want to sit on top of this mountain and look over and smoke my doobie? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things to do there. So are the fans that passionate? Absolutely, especially with this particular incident. But Mayday got bashed hardcore, and I'm like, why are you chirping him? What'd he do? Chirpatoozy. He doesn't like Steve Moore. Steve Moore tried to sue his ass, and he wasn't even around then. I don't. It's very bizarre, and I understand. I understand one side, and I do understand the other side. But I think the one side doesn't understand the real particulars of the inside story of when you were, dealing with that whole situation.
Yeah. All right.
You know what
Good.
I mean? Did
All right.
that make sense, sir?
No,
Am I fucking
I don't
dumb?
know. I wasn't.
Am
Really,
I
I wasn't
brain dead?
like
You're looking
really,
at your goddamn phone.
I wasn't even listening. To
You're
what
not
you were
listening to me? Okay.
I hardly even listened.
I got another sponsor
Like
coming
you
up.
lost me. I wasn't even listening to what you were
Another
saying.
sponsor coming
All
up.
right,
Is that cool?
David Perron, by the way,
Jesus.
who was on this edition of the podcast. You knew that. He's
Who?
got one of the best stories in the history of the St. Louis Blues ever. I mean, to come back 3 times, to be overlooked.
Yep. Win a cup.
When he was draft eligible, never get drafted, and then not only
got shit on a little bit.
not
because
only
he
get
was a
drafted
dick.
the next
He was
year,
a little dicky off the bat. Not gonna
but
lie to you.
gets drafted in the first round, and everyone, no matter if they're a diehard fan of the Blues or if they played for the Blues for 1 week or 10 years, everyone has an opinion on David Perron.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Especially when Army signed him before they signed Ryan O'Reilly and all them. I was
yeah.
like, oh, you got to bring in.
Right.
And he took a little beating in them because we're in the media, man. We hear it every
Yeah,
second.
but you know what? His
But it works.
career. I mean, when he went to Vegas,
Oh, he's got 70 points.
and he just,
56 assists. Or
I mean,
whatever.
he was good start to finish. And listen, he had seasons here where he was, but he was young, right? He went
that's
to
what I'm saying.
Edmonton. He scored 28 goals. But
He was 18.
what we're seeing from him now, he's just taken his career and his game
Maturity,
to such a completely different level. He's had kids, you know, he has
Andy.
matured. He's grown up a lot. And when you look at his background, where he came from, and everything that he endured just to get to the National Hockey League, always had that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, he did. He was young.
Yeah.
And he got put in his place a couple times.
What
I
did
told you.
how was that when he first came
No,
in?
that's what I said. When I mean, like, you got to think the kid was 18. He was playing fucking midget B, and then all of a sudden he's in an NHL 3 years later, and he's got sick hands, and he's making myself, Walt, all the big guys in one-on-one drills look like fucking jerk-offs. And then they all hate him, and then he's kind of cocky a little bit. The guys are kind of like, what the fuck is going on with this kid? Because he's not dominating yet, but he's got it, and he's cocky, but he's forced to be cocky because he's 18 years old, and they just laid out a red carpet for him. But then he figured it out. And I remember seeing him years later after, and he was so good to me, and his dad loved watching. But I remember seeing him. I go, you're a fucking man now, dude. You're some man now, dude. You're 18, 19, 20. You're a man now.
Always had confidence.
Fuck, now
he
he's a
was
fucking
always,
leader.
Always confident.
He's a fucking leader,
But
dude.
then he turned into like a wild animal.
Fucking leader.
During the post
Yeah,
cup celebration.
like, I'm
Who
oh
is this
my
guy?
God, that's-
what a nutcase.
Should I do a TikTok video? I hate TikTok videos, especially when you're like, look at me, I'm doing a dance. Look at you suck.
Oh my
TikTok
God.
videos, y'all suck.
I sent you another
Unless
one
you're
the
a
other
hot
day.
chick, you suck. But I might do a TikTok video. I might do a TikTok video
David Perron.
of David Perron.
Me too.
Being like,
I'm gonna kill you.
and then Joel Edmondson's like, yeah, baby, what's up? Joel's like, da da ba ba ba. Da. Sammy Blake, da ba da ba ba ba. I'm dancing. Parayko's like stud, like I'm barely drinking and I'm handsome. And then Perron's like,
shit-faced.
and Perron's like, throwing shit at, like, fuck. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It was pure emotion that you can't control,
No,
and
exactly.
I love it.
I
and I'm
loved
gonna
it.
do a TikTok
And
video.
you know what? I love the fact that the Blues, like management, they
They
all
didn't give a shit.
they didn't care.
They didn't fucking
They're
care.
like, these guys earned it.
Can you imagine Doug Armstrong? We didn't like what you did there,
No, he
David.
loved
You
it,
were
man.
too
He loved
excited
it.
about. Fuck off.
He
You think
loved it.
Doug gave a fuck? He was doing the same shit, probably.
He
Edit that out.
They let everybody be themselves.
Fuck. Tom Stillman was crushing booze that
And they
night.
earned
His own
every minute of it that they celebrated. So that was one of the coolest things that we've
It
seen.
was
here
awesome,
in
and
a
we
long
love
time.
Perry, man. He was
Right.
so just awesome cat.
One of my
Everybody's awesome. We love everybody.
one of my favorite players ever covered, man. Because there's such a
Fucking real,
There's
dude.
such a story that comes along with it.
Yeah.
He can be a little moody at times, but
So can
he's
you.
overcome a lot.
So
He's
can
overcome
you.
a lot, man. He
So
had the
can
head
you.
injuries too, right?
Yeah, man. And I guess I didn't stick up for him.
Now
on that
he's
one.
a star. Were you in that game?
Man, I don't want to get into it.
Oh my God. No, we are getting
I think that was
into
a
it.
fucking healthy stretch. Somebody looked at. Oh,
Did
we're
you
gonna
play in that game?
We fucked up last one. We got corrected about number 40.
I didn't think of Henrik Zetterberg right off,
I didn't
right
either.
off the bat.
Or Elias Peterson.
I
Sorry.
thought of both of them actually when I left in my
Yeah,
car.
I know. So
Elias
did I.
Pettersson.
Oh, I remembered it whenever I got chirped
Would
on
you
Twitter.
say Peterson? You sound
I
like
don't
a guy
give a
who
shit.
calls into radio shows. You have no idea.
I don't call on my own radio show. Do you have yours every day? Nope.
I don't want one every day.
Oh, no, you don't. I
still
like
make-
sitting at home. I like sitting at home and watching the painters come in and fucking paint my house.
Make more money
Yeah.
than you doing one show a week than you do doing
really?
5.
Oh, really? You're
'Kay.
doing okay now. Why is that? Figure it out. Let's go.
Okay.
What do we got?
Hey, this podcast is brought to you by CarShield. People who love the game.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And so you didn't protect David Perron when he needed protection.
No, I didn't.
But CarShield will certainly be there
They
to
will be
protect you. They're local, right here in St. Louis. And they make the process of fixing cover repairs incredibly simple. They have affordable protection plans that can save you thousands, Cam Jansen, for a cover repair, including computers. Could you imagine if your computer went out? Did your car have a computer?
I have a computer right in front of me, and I'm typing with both hands.
Okay. Engines, air conditioning, a lot more, man. That can cost you thousands of dollars, but not if you have the right coverage from CarShield. Hey, visit them online, carshield.com. Give them a call, 800-857-2481. Again, 1-800-857-2481. And as embarrassing as it is, mention the promo code CAM.
C-A-M, Cam. It's not going to be
Cam.
Andy because no one knows who Andy is. So just say CAM. C-A-M is really, really simple.
And they'll save you 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
Cam.
Exactly how it works.
You mentioned
right there.
Andy, you'll probably save more, actually.
Look like Andy who? Kaufman?
10% if you mention Cam Jansen. So all types of cars, whatever, they'll hook you up. Just make sure you're signed up, man. You got to get your coverage. I signed up. You haven't signed up.
I haven't signed up yet. I was on vacation, and I didn't get any service.
So when are you going to sign up?
When I get home. Can I get out of here, please?
Like,
Can we get the fuck?
I'm just waiting
Can I
for
get out of here?
something to happen to my car.
I've had a headache all day. You're lucky I'm even here.
I don't even
You're
care.
You're lucky I'm even here right now.
Something can happen.
I could be Patrick Berglund. I could be a bunch of guys that skip practice. I don't skip shit. I party hard, and I get here on time. That's what I do.
Something can happen to my car tomorrow. I don't even care.
Good.
I'm
I hope it
protected.
does.
I'm protected.
What does happen? Jeez Louise. We love you, CarShield.
Hey, most people can fix cars themselves nowadays and relate to that very well. There's no doubt. A lot of guys can, but hey, take it to a repair shop. Pick your own repair shop. They'll even hook you up with a rental car.
They do.
CarShield. And also, buy your car from Bellman.com.
Simple.
BEHLMANN.com in Troy. Get yourself a new car. Check out the pre-owned cars. You can go in there. Hey, man, it's all good, man. And again, they are hockey people. Been around St. Louis for years, decades. Located in Troy. Buick, Cadillac, GMC.
Andy, if you get an Escalade, you might be a little bit cooler.
Okay. And then across the street, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
And if I get a pink Jeep, you can get a pink Jeep. What if I want a pink Jeep with no doors and small wheels?
No, you get one with 2 doors and small wheels.
Small wheels.
Yes.
I want a pink Jeep with small. I'll still get away with it, baby. I'll still get it as long as
I want to
Kate's
get
in
one.
the car with
I
me.
want to get one of those razors like the boys from the normal brand that just cruised by my house the other day.
That's what they do over there,
Yes.
eh? They went to the poor part of Ladue. I can't believe they had security with them, of course.
But it was
went
cool.
To the poor
It was
part
cool.
of
I want to
Ladue.
get one of those.
Yeah,
we need a razor sponsor.
You need an Escalade if you want
Someone
to do
can
cool.
reach out to us for that. All right, we got to go.
We love you guys.
David Perron, they call him Perry. He's the man with the master plan. Check it out now here on the Cam and Strick podcast.
Okay. Are you good, Andy? Jesus Christ.
So what's up? Where are you? You up in Quebec?
Yeah, I went back as soon as we heard. Obviously, I just got back as soon as I could. I knew that I had a feeling it wouldn't be somewhat short term, and obviously, I didn't expect maybe that long. Quite at the time, but every day, every week that it evolved, you kind of got the idea, and now we don't really know where we're at. So. I'm trying to make the best of it, to be honest with you. I'm pretty fortunate. None of my family members or friends or anyone really close got affected by it. And again, like we're pretty lucky. I got a bigger property here, so lots of room for the kids to have fun. And just like we were talking about with Cam before, or whenever we start recording, just doing a lot of yard work and a lot of stuff outside. So to be honest with you, I'm pretty busy all day, and it's almost like I have less time than usual.
David, I've seen pictures of your place. You've got that beautiful gym there. You've got the water in the background.
Oh.
You're probably stick handling half of the day, then doing yard work the other half of the day. Describe the setup that you have there, man. When did you get that place?
Well, I got it, I think, like 7-8 years ago now, and I knew that I would have fun here, but I didn't expected to have as much fun as I've had, and kind of solidified my just the place here that I'm always gonna live when I come back home. I'll probably never end up selling this place, and at the time I knew that I knew that I would like it, but not to the point where now I know that I'll probably never sell this place, and I really have fun here. My day really is 3 things: it's the kids, it's training, and it's like you said, doing something outside. There's not a whole lot to do. Quebec here as a province is just starting to like open up just a little bit each and every day or week, and we're just following kind of the guidance of the Prime Minister here, and it is what it is. But training wise, I wish I could do a little bit more. To be honest with you, I was pretty banged up at the end there when we were still playing, and I still kind of feel some things. So I wish I could train more as far as intensity, but I do train 5-6 times a week. Just I wish the intensity was a little bit higher.
What are you doing for training? Like, okay, if people don't know about you, like you're hardcore. Like people chirp me for stick handling and with my cats, and I think that's a pretty good thing to do. What are you doing for hockey wise training though? Like you rollerblading? I'm telling everybody start rollerblading around. Like you stick handling. Like what do you got going besides weights?
Yeah, I got my little guy some rollerblade early on when we got back, and so I got him that. I have a pair myself. I have a couple nets that I can shoot pucks outside. I have a pretty big gym, and that's one of the better things that I ended up doing in my career. And I'm happy that I see some of the results from that in the last few years. I kind of, again, like I wish my intensity was higher, but when I do 6 times a week, I'll probably end up doing like 2 cardio, 2 upper body, 2 lower body. And when I say upper or lower, they kind of like always end up, you know what it is, like full body, core and stuff like that. So, it's been a process. Again, at the start, I think I took like 3-4 weeks, and I just said, no matter what happens, I need those 3-4 weeks, because I was kind of at that point there without, not that it matters, I guess, the information that comes out right now, but it would have been a tough time for me to keep going all the way through without having break ever. And so that's kind of the positive that happened for me that way.
I just love how Cam tries to describe his stick handling with what you're doing, because I know it's just at a completely different. It has nothing to do with what he's doing. Nothing to do with what he's doing.
Why chirp me right now?
Yeah, because it has nothing to do with what he's doing.
He got it from me.
Okay. Oh, listen.
I also saw what Patty Maroon bought for Anthony there. That super decker board with the dots.
We have one. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I brought it for my son, but to be honest with you, I've used that a few times, and I don't know what the world record is, but I'd like to find out and try and beat it.
Well, I have it, and I'll let you know.
Do you? Really? How many pucks do you use?
Well, they're square now, but...
The same one that you chopped into many pieces?
Hey, what was it like having Cam as a roommate back in the day, David?
Oh, buddy.
Like, how long? I said to him today, I can't believe
Why'd they put us together?
I can't believe they stuck this kid with you, of all people. How was that?
No, I mean, it doesn't matter. I think we had fun. I had fun getting to know Cam, and obviously just the energy, and that's how he lives his life, the way he played, and just being from St. Louis, he took obviously so much pride in the Blue Note. But you can tell even now, last year, every time I ran into you, Cam, I would have more energy towards the end there in playoffs. You're all run down, and every time we run into you guys, whatever, you're trying to not show any weakness or anything, so that there's no room or nothing to be talked about. And I'd run into Cam and sometimes felt tired, whatever, and then would leave, end up going back to my house and have more energy, more fire into me. And that's how Cam is. That's having him as a roommate. That's what happened to me. And some nights he wasn't playing, some nights I wasn't playing. And again, like to see a guy, the way he worked hard at the rink and all that, still had fun away from the rink, obviously. But anytime he wasn't playing, it would kind of give me that extra edge to want to play good that night. Not necessarily for him, but kind of you see what your teammates can go through, and that was tough to see sometimes for me to see him not play.
He played for me.
No,
he played. No, don't let him lie to you, Andy. He played for me.
I did one time, Cam, and I'll always remember that. I got rocked pretty good against Nashville. We were in the same line that night.
Oh, God.
Wade Belak hit me pretty.
Same line.
Belak.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Wade Belak hit me pretty good, and then you end up fighting him the next shift. And obviously he's a big guy. He did well, but he was a massive guy. Really,
Perry,
good
he knocked me out.
And,
Perry. Okay.
Well,
you can pump me up. He knocked me out with a left, and my parents were flying. Remember my parents? The blue. I bought that thing at the casino night, and I bought it. This all cost like $5,200, and I bought it. And my parents got to go to Nashville. Perry. Poor David Perron's on a line. Why are you on a line with me? He gets rocked by Belak, and then Belak one punches me with a left. in front of my parents.
And then next shift, you might not remember this now that I know you got knocked out, but next shift you said, Barry, I only want one thing tonight is for us to score as a line, and I scored next shift, and you were more happy than me. Like, it was actually insane. And again, that's the type of stuff that a guy like Cam brought energy to his club in many ways, and I didn't really tell you that before, Cam, but you did to me a lot.
I love it. I love hearing that. And those, those are the stories I like hearing. But listen, when you guys won last year.
You know what I'm not surprised about tonight, this interview?
What?
Is that we're not doing it FaceTime with camera, because when I found out it was with Andy Cam, I knew for sure we weren't doing like camera.
It's funny how that. See, he fucking owns you now.
Yeah,
he owns you.
We thought about it, but then we decided not to.
I look like shit, David. I look like shit right now.
I heard David. I heard you don't like the Zoom calls anyway. I hear a lot of the boys are like, okay, we're done with the Zoom calls. But
yeah, well, yeah, it's interesting because obviously, like, a lot of people don't have. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of people don't have a lot to talk about. It's nice to put those older games, things like that. Maybe it's good memories, different whatever. But I just feel like guys are like getting requests left and right. For me, I'm getting requests from obviously English interviews, but a ton of French interviews, and it seems like there's many different types of people that have podcasts or starting up podcasts that are trying to get a hold of NHL players, whatever. And it's been kind of, I don't want to say it's been challenging to manage all that, but it's not like I've not been busy. I've been busy, like I said, doing the things I'm doing, and I'm not really out there looking for that every night, but
right.
I'm obviously happy to be with you guys, but you know, it is like you get a lot of requests all the time.
I get it. We could do it in French too if you want to. If you just want, you sent me a French text actually earlier, and I was like, "What the? What is this?" And it was for somebody else. But
I was actually on a Zoom call for charity.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was answering questions for like 15, 20 minutes for a charity here back home. And again, that's just some of the things we like doing. But there's so many requests right now in different ways, and I also like when I'm back home, I feel like we're lucky enough to do what we do in the winter, and we're so also very lucky to step away from the game. And I really enjoy the part of being at the lake here, and it really kind of taken off from that. And yeah, I still do love the game, but it's just a different lifestyle.
David, two things I take out of the Blues winning the Cup last summer. Like, after you guys won, you and Colton Parayko, you were an absolute. You turned in like to a crazy person. Like, I was
going to give an impression of him.
Who is this guy?
I was going to give an impression of him.
And Cam does this impression of you, of like. I mean, there's videos of David Perron with a shirt off. He's got this huge beard, and he's just going absolutely crazy. And I loved it, man, because you deserved it so much. I mean, how much did that take out of you, man? And where did all that emotion, that built up emotion, where did it come from, David?
You wondered? Well, it came from my roommate. That's the part I didn't want to talk about earlier. But now that we're talking about it, you know what? I've always had a lot of fun. I didn't always show it early on in my career. I was trying to be, I don't know, I don't want to say too professional in different ways, because there was some question marks sometimes with my first couple of years, different ways, whatever. And I just really wanted to make my mark as an NHL player, become regular. And I just felt, I don't know, maybe not always rightfully or wrong, whatever, but I felt that management, whatever, would hear about some of the stuff. Sometimes if you have too much fun, they hear about it. They can end up doing things that or bringing you in. And I was never doing that. I was really being careful early on. And again, when you win the Cup, all you hear about your whole career is, we're training this way to win the Cup. We're going to have this team philosophy because we want to win the Cup. That's what championship teams are doing. And when you do it, you finally accomplish, after kind of my journey, my career, 12, 13 years, the way it happened. It's kind of everything that you ever dreamed of. It is for the first year guy, but I really believe that I'm really happy the way it happened for me. Obviously you take it any year that you can, but just to have to grind through many of the ups and downs and things like that, and to do it the way we did it with St. Louis and all that, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, there's just so much emotion, man, and you don't know how to let it out because you're just so built up and tense, and all of a sudden it's over, and you're like, we did it. And you're like, how do I express myself? And you certainly did. And I swear to God, it put a smile on my face. I was laughing so hard because I know you, and it was the emotion that came out of you. I'm gonna film myself, do a replay of that. I swear to God, I'm gonna send it to you, and you're gonna laugh your ass off.
Unbelievable.
Send it to me.
I'm going to.
I want you to send it to me. It's interesting because my girlfriend Vanessa was when we were at the bar that night. She was not happy with me, and she thought She thought I would get in trouble, and I remember we went to bed, all that stuff. And the next morning we woke up, and we had the parade that morning, and she's like, people are gonna be embarrassed, blah blah blah. Maybe I'll get in trouble, things like that. And I knew I wouldn't. Like,
no way.
We kind of know our time and things like that.
Yeah.
She had like 25, 30 text message from her friends and my friends saying how cool it was, how much fun we had, things like that. So then she obviously let it go. And no, it was, again, I had no voice. It's funny because that night I was like, all right, we're not going to go out because first I have no voice. We have this team thing that we have to go to right beside the rink there. What's it, Stifle Theater or whatever?
Yeah.
And then we're just going to take it easy. I can't even talk anymore. I have no voice. And we have the parade tomorrow, so I have to save myself. And then Steiner ended up getting like some buses to go like for a Budweiser tour or whatever from the Gloria tanks.
Oh yeah.
Beer tanks. And then we ended up drinking out of the cup in the Budweiser right beside the tanks. Everyone was getting beer all over their, I don't know, bodies, face, whatever. And that kind of triggered something out of me that I turned, like you guys are saying, I kind of turned into an animal a little bit more.
Oh my God.
And,
Well,
and then we had
it.
some fun after that even more.
And I love the fact that even talking to like Army and people with the Blues, I mean, they just let you guys go, man. I mean, they knew you guys earned the right to do what you were doing. I mean, because Colton Parayko, too, I didn't even know, like, he drank or whatever, or just ever had fun. He was an absolute animal, too.
Monster.
So I maybe I don't know, it's a close edge between who got the number one star between you and Parayko. But you guys were definitely.
Sanford did when he puked on the.
You guys were
poor
definitely
guy.
in the top three for sure. Definitely in the top three.
Oh.
But you know what, David, man? I thought about like, the day you showed up when they drafted you, and talking to your agent, trying to learn your background when you first got drafted, and like you've earned it, man. I mean, it just wasn't easy for you to get to the National Hockey League, to get teams to believe in who you were and who you could be. Like, it just has to be so gratifying that you're still doing what you're doing, and you just seem to get better and better each and every year.
Almighty. Yeah.
And it's I don't know. Every year is a blessing in this league, and I've been unfortunate at times, fortunate at other times. I just believe that every step of the way since I was 10, 12 years old, when I had to overcome something, it turned out to be a huge positive in the end. And that's how I see my. I don't know. When I started my NHL career, you think that you have to work your way through the first 4 or 5 years, and then you become solidified, and you kind of just, I don't want to say you're just established, and you just kind of not ride the wave, but sort of. You keep working hard, but you're going to have your spot, things like that. And for me, I really had to work for it every year. And I know that if you talk to Cam or anyone that's done playing, he's going to say the same thing. But I feel like the first 3-4 years in your career are so hard to just get established, get the trust from older guys, get the trust from management, things like that. And once you get that, it's almost like it gets a little bit easier for you. The game gets a little easier. And for me, it got harder. Once I got traded to Edmonton, I really took it hard. I was invested in the Blues. I was invested in what we were trying to do, obviously. And we can tell now because I keep coming back. But there's many reasons for that. I'm fortunate they gave me a chance to play in the league. I love the city. And every single time I was coming back as a visitor, I just couldn't believe how much I missed it here in St. Louis because I had been there basically most of my adult life. And, so it's been an absolute blessing to be able to do that with the Blues. And each and every experience I went to other teams that didn't always work out, and I had to learn something new.
So you start, you played as a kid, and all of a sudden, I believe you're playing like junior B. And all of a sudden, you took the next step, and you get to the Quebec League, and you dominate that. And then the next step, in like a matter of 3 years, you're a roommate with me in the NHL playing for the Blues. And how'd you take that? So when you're at junior B and you're okay, like how'd you take that next big jump to where you're dominating the Quebec League?
And that's why, and that's why exactly Cam knows it better than anyone because he saw me in my first few years. But that's why I was how I was basically in terms of I was always kind of unsure if I could trust everyone around me because my whole as a teenager and kind of early on, I couldn't really trust anyone. Every time I like you said, I was playing midget B because there was like politics involved in my hometown here.
Oh yeah.
Where they were saying bad rumors about me, and it was actually incredible, and none of that was true. And I was able to prove it. And once I went tier 2 in a different city, I was rookie of the year that year, and the next year I was a major junior. We won the league title, and the next year I got drafted in the NHL first round as a 19-year-old, not an 18-year-old, and that's when Andy started learning about me. But my background made it a lot tougher for me. Let's say you compare me to a guy like Steiner who grows up with his dad and knows what it's like to be a professional, knows what it's like to be around dressing rooms and play pro. For me, I really only had 1 year of major junior, and then I made the NHL the next year. But the positive out of that is the chip on my shoulder to prove everyone wrong every year and to really not care what level I was playing. I never cared about what level I was playing. I always wanted to show that I could play, and I didn't really. And again, like my first training camp, Andy knows that when I went 2-on-2 in the corner with Keith Tkachuk and kind of pushed him on his back and ended up scoring, he's chasing me down the ice. Oh. That's who I was, for better or worse. And it wasn't always for the better, but it turned out to be pretty good in the end.
The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by CarShield. You know, nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and you know right off the bat you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview.
I got a two-part question here. I'm glad. Let me start with this. I'm glad you brought that up. Because I remember you were 19, and we both weren't playing. And Walmsley, me and you were doing a little drill in front of the net. And I didn't know you that well, Perry. Like you just kind of, I just got traded there, and Walmer was doing a drill, and I was sitting out, and it was a one-on-one in front of the net with you. And you fucking toe drag me 15 times. You break my ankle. I fall on my ass. You score, and you're giving me this little cocky look. I won, and then Walmer goes to me. Rick Walmer goes, "No wonder, Cam." And I'm like, I almost killed him because of you, Perry. I almost fucking fought the coach because of you. But that's not my question. My question is, why did they, when you were young, though, Perry? What rumors were they spreading about you? Like, what are you talking about? Like, how can they? Were you a bad kid? Were you what were you doing?
Well, they were saying that, but I wasn't. So there's two cities in Sherbrooke that were kind of major for hockey here, and it's a smaller town, but it is what it is when politics starts. And I was in the city that most of the situation. Let's say there was 10 people working. Once you get older, the two cities kind of merge together, and there's 9 people out of the other city versus 1 from my city that kind of ended up being like choosing teams, things like that, and they never liked me as a player. I don't know why. We growing up, I think I was like 9-10 years old. We legit did not lose one game the whole year. We went 44 wins, 0 loss, and 1 tie back when there was ties. And that's when the politics started. There was always like, I don't even know why. It was like bigger than me. It might have been from parents, whatever. Obviously, it started with parents. And then it kind of grew bigger. Like people, all the kids around me, they all liked me. We all had fun together. I'm friends with everyone. But it's every time there was like parents involved or whatever, there was politics. What it was, sometimes I was too good for the level. Sometimes I wasn't. And I don't know. So there was many things. Obviously, when you're a good player, you keep the puck. They would say I was keeping the puck too long, things that you hear all the time. But first of all, there's 5 players on the other team that have to take it away from you too. So if they can't take it away, that means you're probably doing something good.
Yep.
And I did have to learn many things, but as as a young hockey player, you have to kind of find the happy middle here, that you have to be able to keep the puck to make plays, and you have to move it or whatever so you don't lose it the wrong time. And same thing in the NHL. I had to learn that in different level, but not everyone has the patience or whatever. And when there's authority, there's people, coaches back in the day that were old school, and you had to be listening to everything they say. If you don't, they're gonna cut you from teams or whatever. And I always trust in myself. I trust in my instincts, and for better or worse. What made me really confident as a teenager, even though sometimes I was at a lower level because of politics, I'd go to shinny hockey. I was 15 years old. I'm always going to remember that. So I'm from Sherbrooke. I drive an hour and a half, 3 times a week with my mom and my dad, whatever, and my brother to go play shinny. 14, 15 years old, whatever. I don't remember exactly. And I'm done playing shinny hockey after 2 hours. And this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Where do you play major junior?" And I start laughing because in my hometown, with the politics that was going on, there was never any positive coming out of there. And so I start looking at him, and I'm kind of like not really trusting if he's making fun of me or what, if it was sarcasm. And then I'm like, "Well, I'm 15. I don't play junior." And he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm serious. Like, you're really good. Like, you should play major junior next year. Where do you play this year? Midget AAA?" And I'm like, "No." Midget B, actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I swear to God, that gave me like so much confidence that when you go in a different city, you play against adults. And obviously not that they were like good players or whatever. There was some that were pretty good, but they give you confidence because there was other major junior kids that would come by and they weren't as good as me. And before my first training camp, I went to play early in August with my agents, other NHL players, Marty Avlet, Mikalik, Marc-Andre Fleury, those guys. And my agent, I remember talking to him after that, and he said, the older guys are mentioning your name. And quite honestly, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that you're holding your own in this type of level. And obviously, then after that, I went to the Russia-Canada Super Series. And that's another story that I don't know if it's ever been told publicly, but I guess we'll find out now. I was not supposed to go to the first Blues training camp that I went to.
So tell us.
Well, yeah. So what happened is I was at the Canada-Russia Super Series in 2007 in August. And I was going to miss the rookie training camp in Traverse City. And I think because of that, they didn't want me to come in and just come to the main camp. And my agent had to fight for me with Larry Poe or whoever he was talking to. I believe it was Larry. To just bring me in. He's like, "Hey, he's your first round pick. I know he's the third first round pick, but he's still a first round pick. You have to bring him in. Bring him in for 2 days. I don't care, but you have to bring him in." And Larry's like, "Well, we already have our numbers, things like that." I don't want to say things that I'm not exactly sure what he said, but I believe that's what he said. And a couple of days later, he called back. He's like, "All right, we're going to bring him in for 48 hours, and then we're going to send him back to junior after." And I never found out about that until that year in December when my agent, once 3-4 months went by of the season, he told me. And then after 48 hours, that was the Keith Tkachuk incident I was bringing up earlier, where I pushed him in the corner, took the puck, deked the goalie, and scored. And Big Walt's chasing me down the ice. And I was more scared than anyone ever chasing me because I knew even the first time you meet Walt, you know how much power he's got in the room.
Oh, God.
And I love the guy, obviously.
Oh, God.
And, so 48 hours later, they call my agent. They're like, we're maybe going to keep him for another couple days. Do you mind? And my agent's, "Well, why would I care? Obviously, I want you to keep him if he's doing all right." So I played one exhibition game, scored a goal, and I don't know, 3-4 calls later. And I think towards the end of camp, they called my agent. And they're like, "Well, we're surprised, but I think we're going to keep him to start the year and see how he does, and we'll go from there." So that's a pretty cool story. I found out in December that year. That's how it turned out to be, and that's pretty funny.
You know,
Awesome.
I love hearing that because, man. I mean, obviously that was a game changer. I mean, that whole era, 2006, when EJ was drafted, and even before that when Osh was drafted in 2005 and Berglund came in, I mean, that was when the organization just started to transition into a rebuild, and you just knew that, brighter days were going to happen. But, when you came into camp your first time, David, like, you hardly even you didn't know the English language. You knew a couple of words. You couldn't really communicate. You didn't have a social security number, from what I understand. I remember talking to JD about how you couldn't cash your paychecks when the season started. I mean, players were taking you and buying you shoes and clothes. I mean, tell us about some of that and how difficult that was as a young kid, just trying to find your way in the United States and learning the English language.
Well, that was all true, but not. It sounds worse than it actually was, in the sense that if you don't have a social security number, you can't have a bank account and you can't have a credit card, and that's all it was. And obviously, when I went to camp, and I remember when I got drafted, and they're like, "So where do you see yourself in August?" And I did say, "I want to play in the NHL," and they all started laughing at me. It's all right. JR was there. I think Rutherford was there. But when you go to camp, I showed up with probably one ugly suit and then a few other shirts, and you still don't know what to expect. I was at Hilton downtown by the ballpark until probably mid-December when they told me to move into Nelson's house. And because of that, I wasn't prepared for obvious reasons, and so was the team. The team obviously didn't file for me for any of that stuff, and I don't blame anyone here. It's just the way it happened. I don't even know if they could have got me a social number before I even played there. So there's no one to blame there. I just had to learn on the go, and obviously it was a lot. But I was only focused on hockey, and I didn't care. I was making $100 every week or every couple of weeks in junior the year before, so I was fine living on per diem, and DJ King, Bacchus, those guys.
Kinger would buy him shoes.
Yeah, Kinger helped me out. He took me around. JD offered money. Obviously, guys were there on the road too, buying. You know, it is camp, buying dinners, things like that.
Yeah, right.
I was just happy to be there. I was living day by day, and I think the other thing is the team wasn't sure if they would keep me more than 9 games. So really, they had to. I think the process was pushed probably a month later than it should have been, and they probably expected to send me back, and it didn't happen. So the lucky part for me, and I think I'm seeing it wrong, but I think Berglund at the time was given the chance to start maybe in the AHL, and then maybe get called up later on if he does good in the AHL, and he decided to go back to Sweden for one more year. And that's probably what opened up management's the door a little bit to maybe bring in a young guy on the forward side other than EJ on the back end, and start prep. And then who knows, like if I don't make the team that year, I come in the next year, Bergie makes the team, Osh makes the team. I don't know if they keep 3 young guys. Then they maybe send one guy down. Maybe I don't have a good camp as much as I did their first year, and then who knows how it turns out after. You can never tell those things. So I'm really happy that I think that's one thing as young guys. I just wish they would come in sometime and make more of a statement. I'm not saying to put an older guy on their back the way I did, but I'm saying in the way they are assertive in practice, the way they're assertive in the games they play, and show they want to belong. And I remember Sammy Blais, his first training camp. I think he's a 5th or 6th round pick.
Yeah, 6th.
I don't know him. I just know that he's French, and I'm obviously proud Quebec guy. I see him skating with the puck in neutral zone, and I'm in my head, I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Like he's so confident for a prospect, and then I found out that was Sammy Blais, was French guy, and I was really impressed by that. And here he is a few years later, he's a regular in the NHL, and that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And he's crushing guys left and right. My
yeah,
God.
Is he ever?
Was he hitting guys back in the day like that? Or
he
did he
was
just
not.
start doing that?
I heard that he wasn't. No. I heard that he wasn't.
Oh,
but
my God.
I think Chief in the AHL, you know, I'm very impressed by Sammy in the sense that obviously Chief in the AHL, I think he was always on him for many things. You have to make an impact, either physically, things like that. And as a young guy, it can be hard when you have coaches. You talked about Walmer earlier. Walmer was pretty hard on me in bag skates, let me tell you. And he was absolutely skating me to the ground sometimes. And that it's not fun as a young guy, but I only wanted to belong. I didn't care. I was going to do whatever. And Sammy found a way to be successful in different ways. And I'm sure that Chief got in his head, got it in his ear after every shift and say, hey, if you want to play in the NHL one day, you might not play in the first two lines. You might have to make an impact on the third, fourth line before you get your shot on the power play, before you get your shot somewhere else. And then you can show your skill. So I think Sammy really evolved as a player that way. I don't know him, how he was in junior, but I did hear he wasn't as physical, and I'm proud of him. I'm proud the way he's learning every day, every year.
Cam and Strick podcast here for our boy Dan Bellman with Bellman.com.
Yeah, baby.
You need some new wheels? Why not get a Cadillac, a Buick, a GMC? Head out to Troy today. And again, don't forget about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street.
No doubt.
Right there in Troy, Missouri. Visit them online. Check out their new selection, the pre-owned selection, the best service you will find anywhere in the country. Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
Now back to the interview. So listen, David, you take the hit from Joe Thornton coming out of the box. And you missed a full calendar year, I believe. I want to say you missed whatever,
13 months.
50 NHL games, something like that season, the entire offseason.
97.
97 games. I mean, how dark were some of those days, and what were you thinking, man? Did you always know you were going to come out of it? What was it like going through that?
No, not at all. I had no idea. It was hard. It's hard because the first month or so, you go to the rink every day, and God, I only want to play hockey in my life. That's how I feel. I've set up my whole life I have a gym back home to train because I want to play hockey forever, things like that. And then, and that was before I get my place here, but I get hit. And the first month you go to the rink every day, and guys are worried about you, or they want to be nice. They say, how are you doing? Things like that. And that was actually driving me crazy after a while. I could not answer, hey, how are you anymore? Because I guess I should have just given them that I'm doing good. But after 2-3 months, they get that you're not doing good. So I just stopped going to the rink after a while because I just couldn't take it anymore. And we didn't know a whole much about all that stuff. Back then, there was Patrice Bergeron who got a concussion. Sid was going through that at the same time as me, but I didn't know him at the time. And thank God for – I mean, I don't want anyone to have a concussion, but the best player in the league is going through the same injury, same time as you. It took a lot of pressure away from me in the sense that what if you're the only guy that's out for 13 months and you don't come back? Now you see it once in a while, but here you got the situation of the best player in the world that's going through the same thing. So at least the team, I think that way was supportive, and I'm sure they were doubting, or those years were years that it was kind of unsure, like you're kind of in the middle point where guys were just coming back too soon before, or maybe 5-10 years before that. And now it's obviously a little bit different already than it was 10 years ago. But that was definitely one of the hardest time. Those months, from the month, like second month to till I started skating on maybe month number 10 was extremely hard because for the first while I couldn't do anything. I was even walking my dogs to the corner of the street there. I was coming back. I was dizzy, and that was the biggest thing for me. Being dizzy was terrible.
Was it dizzy, Perry? Though was it like, explain that though? Like, and I've taken a beating multiple times. Have I had a terrible concussion? No, I don't think so. But explain though the long days. So is it you can't get out of bed? You have no motivation. The windows are down. You can't have light come in because it's going to eke your head up a little bit. You're going to spin a little bit. Like you're pissy. You're not intimate. Like explain that.
Yeah, I just wanted to be by myself because I did feel that not many people understood me, and at many levels. But it is what it is. I don't blame it on anyone. It's just, again, for myself personally, without thinking about anyone else, to have Sid go through that the same way, it took a lot of pressure from me. If I didn't have the best player in the league doing or getting through that at the same time as me, it would have been extremely hard. It's funny, I think Schenner, not too long after, or maybe the same year, started in the league, and I got a text from him in that time, and he was asking me, he had a concussion early on, And that's how we first started getting in touch. But anyway, I have another story on that about my agent. My agent's been really extremely good for me in many ways. But here's another way. He comes to Sherbrooke in the summer, and obviously I'm still not doing too good. And he obviously could tell that I was down on everything, on life, whatever. And he knew that, like, that's the thing. Like, you go from working out every single day, you go from doing the thing you love and wanting to win the cup, wanting to accomplish many things, to absolutely doing nothing. That was probably the hardest thing on me. Yes, the dizziness and all that, but I think that's what we know nowadays. You can start activating the body a little bit sooner. And I'm not saying getting back to NHL competition, but you can activate the body a little bit sooner. And my agent he brought up some stories about guys started doing that, or maybe studies. And basically, that day I ended up getting on the ice. Just privately, I rented my own sheet of ice. And he's like, I want you to go on the ice. It's been 10 months. I want you to go on the ice right now, just to get a smile on your face. If you have to stay 3 minutes and you don't feel good, get off. I just want you to do it just to see how it felt. And it's funny because it started a process in my head that it was possible to come back. And it's almost like, not that I had given up, but you almost lose faith at one point. And a couple weeks later, after I went on the ice for a bit, and obviously I was in touch with the team a little bit, but that's when I decided to make my way back to St. Louis, and everyone was on board with everything at the time, and I started skating in St. Louis by myself with Ray on the ice, and kind of getting the process started. And it's the last part of the symptoms at this time went away over the next 2 months, basically. And I've been somewhat fortunate that nothing has been really long-term since.
You came back and you finished that game. First off, it's hard to believe you missed 97 games because we talk like you just came into the league yesterday. You played almost 850 games as it sits right now. I mean, you would have been close to 950. But you came back, you finished that game, and then when did you start to really go south there, David? Was it on the plane or when you got into Boston? I think that was the next city you guys were going to.
Well, I was feeling somewhat fine after the game. It's hard to know because it was a different era almost. Mm-hmm. That's how it feels like now. And it wasn't the first time. Again, the Wade Vielak situation I brought up before, I got hit pretty good there. Who knows? Like, you don't know at the time. Maybe it was something there too. He hit me high. He hit me good. I finished the game there. You play in the fourth line.
I got concussed that night too, David Perron. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But you play 8-10 minutes. So I played 8-10 minutes in that time too, and it was like you have more time to recover. But when you play 20 minutes, and it's a different world than you can. I'm not even comparing that. I don't even think I could live one game doing what you did.
No, but, Cam never played. Cam never played 8 minutes. Just for the record.
Thank you, Andy.
But I'm saying in those years I was playing on the fourth line a lot more than not. And it's almost like you can get by the game if you don't feel good one night. And I wasn't even thinking, is it maybe a concussion or not? In the Wade Vielak one, I remember getting hit pretty good, but you don't know what it is at the time. And all I remember is a few days later I was fine from everything. And I don't even know if the next day I wasn't fine. I'm just saying, like, when I was playing then with the Thornton one, and you play 20 minutes, 18 minutes against the best, it's almost like you're focused, everything, you feel slower. You kind of know there's something going on. And after the game, I was driving home, and I was like, God, I can't believe, like, I feel pretty good right now. Like, I got hit like crazy, and I scored a goal, but I don't know. Like, it kind of, I felt just a slight touch off, but I was like, I felt fortunate driving home almost. I was like, it could have been worse. The next day, we're flying to Boston, and then we got on the ice the next morning for morning skate. I was skating around, and I just could tell I was off. Like, it was like, not like it wasn't working. I told Ray, and he pulled me off. Like, he was really good about it. And the only thing that was tough is in those years, it was the protocol of the NHL was you don't do anything till you have zero symptoms. So that's why the process I don't know if the process could have been shorter, knowing what we know now, and maybe getting activated a little bit sooner. But some of the other situations I've had in recent years, I've activated myself a lot sooner, and it worked out. So I'm fortunate for that too.
All right, so let's fast forward here. You get left unprotected. You go to Vegas. You end up going to the Stanley Cup final, and I know you guys lost. But when you find out you were being left unprotected, like when players find that out, David, are you completely caught off guard? Are you expecting that? Like, how does that go down?
I don't know. It's let me put it this way. I have a ton of respect for Army in the business side of things. And also that I can pick up the phone and call him about anything right now.
Yeah.
And I've done it. I've done it really, like, in the last 3 years. I've done it a few times for different topics. And he's been incredibly supportive. He's always kept in touch with me. And I'm saying keep in touch even when I was on the team. It might have been a text in the summer. It might have been something that was happening. I had a good game or whatever, and he saw it. Or maybe we ran into each other in the rink if I was playing another team, things like that. And I don't know. I think it's a mutual thing that we got that way. And so after this year, what happened, in my opinion, and the team obviously might have a different opinion, but I'm willing to share just a little bit. Sobi came back from Russia, and I felt obviously pretty comfortable in my role. I've actually never played PK my whole career as a regular. That year I was kind of third pair. I was playing second power play. I was playing second, third line, 14 to 17 minutes, depending which night. I felt pretty comfortable in my role, and I felt for the role I was having, I was productive enough in terms of many things: salary, ice time, role. And then when Sobi came back from KHL with 1 game left, it totally changed my role, where I was taken off the PK. I was taken off the power play, or close to. And when you go from those minutes to maybe 12, 13, it's really hard. It feels like your role is like, and then obviously the team is expecting the same, and I expected the same out of me. You always want to, there's always one more situation to prove someone wrong, and I'll never be satisfied that way. I always want to prove myself or someone that I'm better than they think, or maybe that I think I am. But anyway, so that's how I saw it. Those playoffs, I had bad playoffs. We ended up losing in second round to Nashville, and there was a lot of frustration on my part, obviously. My game wasn't good enough. I felt like I deserved a little bit more, to be honest with you, from the season I had with many other things involved. But so after that happened, I kind of got the idea that if they're bringing back a guy and I'm being moved out of my role a little bit, there's a chance, you know. I was kind of praying, I was crossing my fingers that I would stay, because I do love the city. That's how I lived it. And so Army called me and said he was going to leave me unprotected, and that they were going to try and work out a deal to keep me and see how it goes. And then he called me, I think a week later or whenever it was. I was actually on the boat on the lake by myself. And as soon as I saw his name, I had that's when I was on the boat. That's when he told me I was unprotected. Then when I was leaving the hockey arena early June, I saw his name on the phone again, and I was like, all right, I know for sure what's going on here. Yeah. So I got it, and at least I found out the night before. I was able to talk to a few guys, Fleury, and then the expansion draft was the night after.
Vegas, baby.
Well, yeah, a lot of French guys there, though. I mean, that had
Vegas,
to be
baby.
And
Vegas, baby.
You could have never imagined. You could have never imagined it would have worked out the way that it did. Because I remember talking to you during that season, and you were like, "Man, it's unbelievable. The owner brings people out here. They detail our
celebrities
cars.
everywhere.
They detail our cars. They clean our cars during practice. We come out, our cars are clean.
God, that place is sick, though, Perry.
You got to be happy you had that experience. Just having to be the first year, man. It was unbelievable.
It was one of the coolest experiences of my whole career, and it was 1 year, but it felt like more as far as how many experiences we got. And I saw recently that they're doing a neighborhood of some like construction guys building a new neighborhood, and he's going to name streets after each and every player. And George McPhee, Bill Foley, all the names. Every guy's gonna have their own street basically from the first year.
Perron Lane.
No, it's gonna be the ghetto. That's the ghetto part.
Yeah, no. That's called a sack probably. With
the hood.
No one wants to live there.
The trailer park.
Yeah, exactly. Eureka, like you.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
At least you remembered.
Many times. You took me golfing. I love it there. You know that.
I
know that. I love it.
It's lovely.
No, anyway, so all I brought that up for is to show how much they got into their team, and it's actually crazy. You would think that it would cool off just a bit, and it doesn't. Now, if Tom Brady signed in Vegas or whatever, maybe it would change something. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's been really good for the league. It was an absolute amazing experience, and again, it felt like more than 1 year. The way that I'm always going to go back to Vegas and almost get a similar feeling as I get when I go to St. Louis. And I can't say I have the same thing about the other cities that I've played in. So definitely special. And yeah, Bill Foley's going all in many ways. He was a great owner. He was always around the team. And it's a pretty funny story. He came in the room and he wanted guys to have clean cars. So he offered to bring in a guy, but we were all scared to use it early on. So no one's using it. 2 or 3 weeks go by, the guys are just sitting there in the parking lot. No one's getting their cars washed. First of all, it's always clean in Vegas anyway. Yeah. And he comes in the room. I think he had a team meeting. He's like, hey, guys, we're just going to cancel the car wash if no one's using it. I want you guys to use it. So the next day at practice, every single car of the whole organization, I think, was lined up and got it washed. So, no, there's many little cool details like that. We got gifts from all kinds of places all year. It seemed like every time we'd come back to the ring, there was a bottle of wine engraved with the Vegas logo or something like that. And wow. I don't know who it came from all the time, but the
drink it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? Those are bottles that I guess that you keep for your bar, and when you're done playing, maybe you build a small one or whatever. But this obviously was a cool experience.
What's it like with so I'm trying to think how I was when I was 21 years old. Like, if you're playing in Vegas, like some of the young guys are. Like, was it hard for some of the young guys that are like, okay, I want to be out and about? Was it hard for them to stay in control? And you don't have to call anybody out or anything like that, but like everything's just right there. Like right after a game, and the boys like, oh, where do you want to go? Well, we have like 90,000 options. What are we doing? Like, how was that? Like was there nice dinner set up? Like, especially the first year, man. Like, were the young guys crazy? Like, how can you not be crazy in that town?
I think we all had fun early on. We certainly enjoyed the places. We would get free stuff from many establishments.
I bet
in the city, it was actually nuts. Like I offered I think it was George McPhee or the coaching staff to do. We did some type of like race around the city with like 3 different teams, and we had to find different places in the city to kind of get the team to bond together early on. And then we ended up doing it. We had so much fun with that. That's probably the only time we were able to drink in the city and no one knew where we were. And then once the city, seriously though, once the first few games happened and we got the ball rolling in the right direction as far as wins, as far as helping the city of Vegas heal from the shooting that happened not long before season started, that changed everything. I think that's something, and you can never compare real life to hockey, but I think it's something that the fans and a lot of people from Vegas rallied behind us to try and heal. And once we got a few, like the way our first period started, I think we scored 2 or 3 goals. Derek Anglin scored, the Vegas boys scores. Yep. And that was special. He's a guy that scores 3-4 goals, 2 goals a year. And I don't know, you just have the feeling that, who knows? Maybe this is something. And after 5, 6, 7 wins in the first 10 games, you're like, geez, maybe there's something going on. We don't know. I think up until December, we didn't really have an idea if we were for real or not. There was games that we were being outshot badly. We'd find a way to win. We would find ways to win all kinds of ways. It was actually crazy.
Fun
and then
watch.
I think there's a game in December. We played Tampa Bay. They were first in the league. if we beat them, we would win. We would be first in the league, sorry, at the time. And I want to say we were down 3-0 or close to, and we came back and won 4-3 with like 1 second left. And that's what Vegas does for you. The fans give us so much energy that you're never out of it. And we found it ourselves this year with the Blues when there's a game. We were up 3-0. I think they came back. I don't know if we won the game. We might have.
No, you lost in overtime. I was there. No, you lost in overtime.
Yeah.
I was there.
So there you go.
Yeah,
But there you go.
I
No,
remember
but
that.
that's what it is.
Partied hard that night.
There's not many buildings that stay as active as they do with their team losing 3-4-0. It doesn't take much to spark them.
Speaking of you guys doing a little scavenger hunt in Vegas, remember we did that in Sweden in 2008? And we all had to go. We all had to go find different things. And Andy Murray's like, "Okay, here you go. Now you guys go to." And Walt's like, "Shut the fuck up! I'm getting in a cab right now." And I gotta remember that Walt didn't give a shit.
That's what ended up happening too. Like we all know that's what happens in those things, Cam.
Oh,
and you just make it fun at the start, and then we kind of. It's a way to basically have fun, have a couple drinks, the guys, and again like. I really think that our team was different because we all came in. Not many of us knew each other, so we really had to make an effort to know everyone, to really be open about that. And again, the start of our season kind of dictated the rest of the season.
Listen, we got to let you go eventually.
I know, man. I'd keep you on all night, Perry.
We've kept you for so long. You're such a great interview, and there's so much to your story. But just reflect on your career, David. I mean, just in terms of your family, I mean, how many contracts you signed, how much money you made, everything, the fact you've been able to take care of your family and everything, man, it's got to be just unreal for you to kind of just reflect on where you're at in your life and what you've been able to do for your family and everybody around you.
Yeah, it's been a blessing. There's not one day that I would change from the downs to the ups. And I remember Sid bringing that up one time. If you won every game 7-0, what's the fun in that? But the fun when you're losing 3-4 in a row and you have to find a way out of it, the guys in there, and you do, and you start building something, and then you end up doing what we did basically last year as a team in December, January, and all that. It's pretty special. Even for me this year, I was really fortunate to bring my kids to the All-Star game for it to be in St. Louis. After all these years, obviously I'm not a guy that's looked at as being an All-Star every year, but it's truly special. I'm lucky that I've been able to play with O'Reilly. We've had such a connection the last 2 seasons, and I'm hoping that it's not over. I'm just hoping right now to be able to heal the way I want to, and if we do come back, play to a high level, play to the level I was close to it at the end, and keep going. I don't want this thing to be over. I want to play as long as I can and really make a difference. I'll always kind of have that chip on my shoulder and to push myself and to push everyone around me.
I will say this, man, and we are going to let you go here because I know you got stuff to do, and you got to go on your boat, and you got kids and all that stuff.
He's not going on his boat.
He's going on his boat tonight. Why wouldn't you go on your boat?
He's not going on his boat tonight.
Andy, goddammit, go on your boat, have a glass of wine, and just chill.
Can you do your impersonation of David?
No, I'm going to. No, fuck that.
Do it.
No, I'm not
do
doing
it.
I'm gonna.
That's David Perron after winning
Barry,
the cup.
I love you so much.
And by the way, we
love you so
we
much.
wish we would have been at your cup party. Honestly, I'd love to.
I was there earlier.
I want
and
to
then
play street hockey for the Stanley Cup.
Oh no, the cup party. Oh yeah, I was going to go to Wheelhouse that night with you, but my wife wouldn't let me. So.
It would have been great. It would have been great to have Cam on my team for street hockey, though.
Oh my God!
That would have been
he would have taken it so serious.
Yeah, she let me play street hockey with you, but the Wheelhouse night, she's like, "No, you're not going with the guys." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine, that's fair." Perry,
Dave, we love having you in St. Louis, man.
Thanks, guys. Anytime.
Thanks for doing this, dude. And then hopefully we'll see you very soon.
I'm glad to be your best roommate, and I'm glad I got you to where you needed to be, Perry. We love you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. See you guys around.
You're the best.
Perry.
Thanks.
That was David Perron, again, brought to you by CarShield, carshield.com. Get protected, get your coverage, and also Bellman.com. Go buy yourself a new car. Check out their new inventory, used car selection as well. Online, Bellman.com, Bellman in Troy, as well as Cope24.com.
She texted me.
Did she?
Hell yeah.
Renee? my
You don't
girl.
think Renee's
Why
going to
is
be
she
like, oh,
texting- why would she
happy
wanna text you?
anniversary, Cam?
Oh, that was
yeah,
nice.
because she's a sweetheart.
I know.
You didn't do it.
No, I did.
Oh, on Facebook?
I think so.
Oh, you better.
I did. So happy anniversary and happy everything to Renee Howitt from Coke24.com. Yes, we do.
We do.
Absolutely.
Don't laugh at me.
All right, David Perron. Anything stand out? Were you listening when he was talking?
Who?
What stood out to you?
Boy, he pumped my tires up quite a bit. Not
I
gonna lie.
can't believe the Blues would put you as his
They're
roommate.
psychos. Doug
Like,
Armstrong,
why would
was that
they
you?
ever
I know
put-
you're listening.
Why
to
would
this.
they put you with an 18-year-old?
Why would they do that? I was
kid?
out of my mind.
Were you?
I was 23 and he was 18. I was out of my mind. And they put us together and I'm like, oh, okay. I was a sweetheart to him and I stuck up for him and I told you my routine when I walked in. I'm not going to get through it again, but I had a routine so he wouldn't wake up. That's what good veterans do. That's what good veterans do. Write that fucking down.
The one thing about David Perron is that he loves the game. Nobody I've ever seen loves
he
the
loves
game
it.
more than David Perron.
Yeah, he'll be
Kovalev.
Kovalev.
Who's coming up on a future
I was gonna say,
episode
do we
here
say
on
that
the,
on this? Yeah, but
I
who
don't know.
cares?
Here
It
on the
doesn't matter.
Cam and
Fuck.
Strick podcast. And he
talked about him, yeah.
David Perron's going to be that guy that he'll be playing pickup
He'll
hockey
play.
in
He'll
his
play
40s,
1,000 games.
kind of like you. But like most of the good players don't play anymore. Like they stop
Motherfucker,
playing. But you keep playing. So Kovalev and
fucking
David
paid to
Perron
play
are two
still.
of the only guys who are actually had great
Bitch.
careers who will still play pickup hockey all the time.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
everybody's walking by laughing at your
and
stupid ass.
Kasperitis.
Yeah, and Casper. Oh my God! If you want somebody in a big tournament, you invite the Kasperitis crew. Trust me, they'll pay for you.
But
and they'll come on.
you count your goals and assists like
Yeah,
a
I do.
loser.
Well, you win trophies and stuff and money and.
And pickup games.
Pick up
You got
games.
like
And I got bragging rights when I walk in that locker room. Like, what's up? Daddy's home, baby. I'm walking in. I scored fucking Baker's dozen last game. That's what I do.
Yeah. And
That's what I
nobody
do. And you might get an invite if I'm
nobody-
happy.
and nobody
If
cares.
you might get the only reason why you're out there is because of me. So just remember that, homie.
All right,
And we're not
all the
editing that out either.
all the guys that came in to the NHL at a young age, because David Perron was a part of that. There was 2 other first-round picks the year he was drafted. Can you believe that? The biggest story that came out to me is the fact that the Blues weren't even going to bring him into training camp for his rookie year as a first-round pick, and his agent Alan Walsh had to basically call Larry Plow and be like, "Listen, you're not bringing him
Posey's
to
like, what's
camp."
up? Posey's like,
Let's
what's
go."
up? Let's go. And Posey's like, let's go. That was the same thing. Posey's like, oh, he's good. Like, all right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Then he fucking hits
Big
Walt,
yeah.
and Walt's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Then he did it to me. I told you the story with Rick Wamsley, and Rick Wamsley, I know you're listening right now. I wanted to fuck you up so bad.
I know you're listening. Right
I don't
now.
give a shit.
Wammer.
I wanted to fucking bag you up in front of everybody, the custodians, and then the trainers.
Custodians?
Because there's
What,
only
at
2
a-
people
at
there.
an elementary school?
No, it was custodian. No, I mean janitors, and then maybe Ray Barilli because that's the only people on the ice. Oh yeah, and David Perron. I wanted to kill you, but I didn't do it because I'm just.
So that was a great story that he told, David Perron.
Yeah.
I mean, just a tremendous story. But he does love the game, man. I love the fact that he's developed into an NHL All-Star.
And he's a sweetheart of a guy, man. Honest to God,
Great
just
guy.
a great guy. Except for the wheelhouse Game 7 after he won the Stanley Cup. Then he's fucking hawk. He's like the word. We love you, buddy. We love
do.
you. We
All
love
right,
you to death.
That was David Perron. Again, follow us on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter.
What up?
Hit us up. A lot of private messages coming in,
Oh,
man. We
fuck.
appreciate all the support.
Oh shit! Kate's looking at my private message like, "Damn, what's going on with?" Oh, it's all dudes
Yeah.
asking about podcasts. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, again, and you want to be a part of our team, hit us up. We can make that happen.
Yeah, DM me, baby.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
All right, this has been the Cam and Strick podcast brought to you by CarShield, Bellman.com, and Cope24. Until next time, have a great day, everybody.
Great ending.